This title is presented to you by Soundlibra.com. For more audiobooks like this, click the link in the description or visit our website at Soundlibra.com. Today, we're diving into the absolute cornerstone of intentional family connection, why family meetings matter.
Before we jump in, a quick note to our listeners. While we're discussing family dynamics and wellness, please remember this is for educational purposes and isn't a substitute for professional mental health or family counseling advice.
That's a great reminder. Now, for anyone listening who might be thinking, family meetings? That sounds like more work. We hear you. But stick with us because we're going to show you how this simple, consistent ritual can become the heartbeat of your home, strengthening your family bond in ways you might not have imagined.
Exactly. In our busy lives, it's incredibly easy for family members to feel like ships passing in the night, even when they live under the same roof. We're all running in different directions, juggling work, school, activities, and individual lives. This constant motion can accidentally create distance between parents and children, or even between partners.
It's so true. And that distance, if left unaddressed, can lead to misunderstandings, a lack of awareness about what's really going on with everyone, and a general feeling of disconnection. It's like having a beautiful house, but forgetting to open the windows to let fresh air in. We need that fresh air to keep the environment healthy.
Precisely. And that's where family meetings come in. Think of them as your dedicated time to intentionally open those windows, to let the fresh air of open communication and shared experience flow through your home. They are a structured opportunity to connect, to discuss, and to ensure everyone feels heard and valued.
So, it's not just about scheduling time to talk. It's about creating a specific, intentional space for connection. What are some of the core benefits that make this intentionality so powerful for mental and emotional well-being?
The benefits are numerous, but at their heart, they all circle back to building a stronger, more resilient family unit. Firstly, family meetings foster open and honest communication. When you have a consistent time set aside, you create a safe space for everyone to share their thoughts, feelings, and concerns without interruption or judgment. This is crucial for understanding each other. We're creating a dialogue where everyone feels safe to speak.
That's a huge one. Being able to really hear each other and to be heard. What else contributes to this strengthened bond?
Secondly, they build a sense of teamwork and shared responsibility. When you discuss household matters, from chores to upcoming events, together, everyone feels more invested in the family's success. It's no longer just one person's burden, it's a collective effort. This collaborative spirit is essential for navigating challenges as a team. Remember, when we work together, the load feels lighter for everyone.
It shifts the mindset from my tasks to our family tasks. I can see how that would make a big difference in how things get done and how people feel about them.
Absolutely. And thirdly, family meetings provide a predictable rhythm to family life. In a world that often feels chaotic, having this regular touchpoint offers stability and security. Children, especially, thrive on routine and knowing what to expect. It signals to them that their family matters and their place within it is important and consistent. This predictability acts as a real emotional anchor for the kids.
That's a wonderful point about predictability. It's like an anchor in a busy sea. So, we're talking about better communication, a stronger sense of teamwork, and more stability. It sounds almost too good to be true for something as simple as a meeting.
It might seem simple, but consistency is the key. It's the regular practice of these meetings that creates the lasting impact. It's not about having one perfect conversation. It's about building a habit of connection. And this practice helps to proactively address issues before they become major problems. Think of it as regular maintenance for your family relationships.
Regular maintenance. I like that analogy. So, instead of waiting for a car to break down to fix it, you're doing the oil changes and tire rotations regularly to keep it running smoothly. This proactive approach sounds much more manageable than constantly putting out fires.
Exactly. And often, The biggest hurdle for families isn't the concept itself, but overcoming that initial inertia or hesitation. People worry it will be awkward, or that kids won't engage, or that it will just turn into a complaint session. These are common fears when starting any new wellness routine.
Those are all valid concerns. What's the underlying principle for overcoming those hesitations and making them productive?
The underlying principle is intentionality and a focus on positive connection. It's about creating a culture where sharing is encouraged and listening is prioritized. And as we'll discuss further, there are very practical, actionable ways to make family meetings engaging and productive for everyone involved. We'll break down how to structure them, how to plan agendas, and how to ensure every voice is heard.
So, this first episode is really about planting the seed, right? It's the why behind the what and the how that we'll get into later. It's about understanding that this isn't just another task to add to the to-do list, but a foundational investment in your family's long-term health and happiness.
That's a perfect summary. We're setting the stage for deeper connection, better problem solving, and a more harmonious home life. By dedicating even a small amount of regular time to family meetings, you are actively choosing to strengthen the most important relationships in your life. Remember when we talked about the fresh air? This is how you keep that air clean.
It's about creating the consistent pulse, that heartbeat of your home, where everyone feels connected and understood. It's an investment worth making for lasting family well-being.
Indeed. In our next episode, we'll move from the why to the how and start laying the actual groundwork. We'll discuss crafting your family meeting ritual and what that foundational structure might look like.
Looking forward to it.
So, to recap for our listeners today, family meetings are essential for intentional family connection. They foster open communication, build teamwork and shared responsibility, and provide stability and predictability in your home. Overcoming initial hesitations is possible by focusing on positive connection and active listening, which we'll explore further in the coming episodes.
And the ultimate goal? A stronger, more communicative, and more connected family. Building on this foundation, we'll see how these meetings evolve as your family grows.
Precisely. Thanks for listening.
Next episode, laying the groundwork, crafting your family meeting ritual. Welcome back. Last time we discussed why family meetings are essential. Now let's focus on how to start them.
Right, Alex? We established the importance, but now it's time for the practical steps. How do we actually launch these meetings? It can feel a bit overwhelming to decide where to begin.
You're right, Lisa. Today, we're diving into laying the groundwork for your family meeting ritual. Think of it like preparing the soil and planting seeds for a strong garden. We need to establish the right time and place, create a consistent schedule, and clearly define the purpose of your meetings. This is all about making those initial gatherings comfortable and productive, creating a safe space for everyone to start participating.
A safe space that resonates. So, Alex, what's the very first step in building this foundation? Should we focus on time or place first?
Let's start with the time and place. This is crucial. You want to choose a time when most, if not all, of your family members are available and relaxed. Avoid times when people are rushed, stressed, or tired. For some families, this might be Sunday evening, right before the week kicks off. For others, it could be a weeknight after dinner. The key here is consistency.
Consistency makes so much sense. So, a Saturday morning might work for some, but if there are constant soccer games or other commitments, it's not a reliable choice.
Precisely. And the place? It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be a space where everyone can gather comfortably without too many distractions. Your dining room table, the living room sofa, or even a cozy spot in the backyard on a nice day can work. The important thing is that it's a designated spot for your family meetings. Imagine it as your family's dedicated council chamber, a place where ideas are heard and decisions are made together.
So, we pick a consistent time and a comfortable place. What comes next?
Next, we establish a consistent schedule. This is where that chosen time comes into play. Will be weekly, bi-weekly. For most families, starting with a weekly meeting is ideal. It helps build the habit and keeps you all on the same page. Once a week, you know you'll come together. This predictability is a powerful tool for creating a ritual.
Weekly meetings. So, setting aside, say, 30 minutes every Sunday evening. It would become part of the routine, much like brushing teeth or eating dinner.
Exactly. It's not just another item on the to-do list. It's a scheduled time for connection and collaboration. Now, let's talk about the purpose of your meetings. This is where you set expectations. What do you want to achieve with these meetings? Is it to share updates about everyone's week? To solve family problems? To plan upcoming activities? To discuss household responsibilities?
This is really important, Alex. If everyone shows up expecting different things, it could lead to frustration right from the start.
You've hit on a key point, Lisa. It's best to start simple, especially for those first few meetings. You don't need to tackle every single issue at once. A good starting point is to simply share what's going on in everyone's lives. This is a great way to make everyone feel heard and valued. It's like opening the floor for everyone to share a highlight or a challenge from their week.
So, the initial purpose could be just checking in and sharing. That sounds much less intimidating than trying to solve every problem all at once.
Exactly. The goal in these early stages is to make the experience positive and encourage participation. Think of these first meetings as a way to practice speaking and listening in a safe environment. You are establishing the purpose, but also the feeling of the meeting. We want to foster an atmosphere of trust and openness.
I can see how that gentle approach would be beneficial, especially if you have younger children who might be hesitant to speak up.
Absolutely. And we'll dive much deeper into making these meetings family-friendly and involving younger children in our next episode. But for now, remember to make it comfortable. Maybe have some light snacks or drinks available. Keep the first few meetings relatively short. 15 to 30 minutes is often plenty. The objective is to create a positive association with family meetings.
Positive association. That makes total sense. So, to recap for our listeners, first, pick a consistent time and place where everyone can be comfortable and free from distractions. Second, establish a regular schedule, ideally weekly, to build a strong ritual. And third, define a simple, clear purpose for your initial meetings, focusing on sharing and making everyone feel heard.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. By focusing on these foundational elements, time, place, schedule, and purpose, you're setting yourselves up for success. You're building that bedrock upon which a strong, connected family unit can thrive. You're creating a blueprint for predictable connection.
It really does sound achievable when you break it down like that. It's not about perfection from the get-go, but about creating a consistent, welcoming space.
Exactly. Remember, the goal is to create a ritual that strengthens your family's bond. And that starts with these practical, thoughtful preparations.
So, we've chosen our time, place, and set a simple purpose. What's next on the agenda for our family meetings?
Well, in our next episode, we're going to explore how to make these meetings truly family-friendly and specifically how to involve even the youngest members of your household. We'll be discussing how to make sure everyone's voice matters.
Excellent. So look forward to episode 3, where we'll learn how to ensure every voice is heard in your family meetings.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we focused on establishing your family meeting ritual. Today, let's tackle making sure everyone's voice matters in those meetings.
Exactly. If only a few people are talking, or if some family members feel left out, the whole point is lost. It should feel like a team huddle, not a lecture.
The core idea is inclusivity, making sure every single member feels genuinely involved and heard. That means considering age and personality when we plan and run our meetings.
How do we do that? Some families have very young children, and others teenagers who might be less inclined to speak. It feels like a balancing act.
It is, but it's manageable. For toddlers and preschoolers, traditional sit and discuss meetings won't work. Think shorter attention spans. Participation might mean drawing a picture about a topic, using a simple emotion chart, or having a show and tell time.
So, adapting the format to their developmental stage. A drawing is a way for a preschooler to talk about their feelings or ideas, even if they can't articulate them with long sentences.
Precisely. For elementary school-aged children, introduce more structured participation. Maybe they have a role, like being the agenda keeper for a week or the note taker, even if it's just drawing simple symbols to represent decisions. This gives them a sense of ownership.
I love the idea of giving them roles. It makes them feel like active contributors, not just passive attendees. And teenagers? They can sometimes be the hardest to engage.
Teenagers can be tricky. They might feel too cool for family meetings, or they might dominate the conversation. For them, it's about giving them a real voice and respecting their opinions. Involve them in setting the agenda more collaboratively. Ask them what they want to discuss.
So, instead of parents dictating topics, the teen has input. That could be a game changer.
Absolutely. And when they speak, it's crucial to listen actively. Truly hear what they're saying, validate their feelings, even if you don't agree with their conclusion. For example, if a teen is upset about a curfew, instead of dismissing it, say something like, I hear that you're feeling frustrated about the curfew, and you think it's too early. Let's explore why you feel that way.
That creates a safe space for them to open up. And what about those quieter family members, regardless of age, who just aren't naturally going to jump into the conversation?
That's a key point. Not everyone is an extrovert, and that's okay. For shy or introverted members, provide alternatives to verbal participation. Perhaps they can write down their thoughts on a piece of paper and hand it in before the meeting, or use a digital tool if your family is tech savvy, where they can anonymously submit ideas or concerns.
So, giving them a way to contribute without the pressure of spontaneous speaking. That's brilliant. It ensures their perspectives aren't lost just because they're not the loudest voice in the room.
Exactly. Another strategy is using visual aids. For younger kids, especially, having a picture schedule of the meeting's topics can help them follow along. For older kids and adults, you might use a whiteboard to jot down key points or the decisions made. This keeps everyone on the same page and provides a visual anchor for what's being discussed.
Visuals can really help to keep everyone engaged and clarify the conversation. It's like having a shared map of where the discussion is going.
Think of it that way. And it's important to have a gentle way of directing the conversation. If one person is dominating, you might use a phrase like, That's a great point, John. Let's hear if anyone else has a different perspective on that.
That's a very diplomatic way to redirect. It acknowledges the speaker while inviting others to participate.
And sometimes, you might need to circle back to someone who hasn't spoken. Sarah, you've been quiet. Do you have any thoughts on this topic? You wouldn't want to put them on the spot in a way that makes them uncomfortable, but a gentle invitation can be very effective. The goal is to make everyone feel seen, valued, and like their contribution matters.
So, to recap, we're adapting our meeting formats for different ages, giving everyone roles, actively listening, using visual aids, and providing multiple channels for participation, verbal, written, or drawing. It's all about creating an environment where every voice has the potential to be heard.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. By making these adjustments, we transform family meetings from a potentially tedious chore into a truly collaborative process. This builds stronger connections, fosters understanding, and ultimately makes your family a more cohesive unit. Making them inclusive is a huge part of achieving that profound connection we seek with family meetings.
And this sets the stage perfectly for our next episode, where we'll be tackling how to navigate those inevitable disagreements that arise when different voices do come together. We'll be diving into constructive conflict resolution.
That's right, because when everyone feels heard, disagreements are more likely to be productive. Join us next time as we equip you with the tools to handle conflict in a way that strengthens your family bond. Next episode, Navigating the Storm, Constructive Conflict Resolution. Welcome back. Last time, we explored how to make family meetings truly family-friendly. Now, let's talk about a crucial skill, active listening.
It's true, Alex. If no one is truly listening, voices aren't really heard. It's like speaking into a void.
Active listening is about understanding the message and the feelings behind the words and showing you're engaged. It means giving your full attention to the whole person.
So, more than just nodding along, what are the core elements?
First, paying full attention. Put away distractions like phones and make eye contact. It signals respect.
That makes sense in a busy household.
Absolutely. Second, demonstrate your listening. Use nonverbal cues like leaning in, nodding, and eye contact. Your body says, I'm with you.
Okay, attention and body language. What else?
Then, verbal cues. Offer small encouragements like, uh-huh, or I see. These gently encourage them to continue without interrupting.
I can see how that encourages sharing, especially if someone is hesitant.
Precisely. A really important technique is paraphrasing. Restate what you heard in your own words. For example, if a child says, I'm upset because my brother took my toy, you might say, so you're feeling angry because your brother took your toy?
That confirms understanding and shows you've processed what they said. It ensures you're on the same page.
Paraphrasing clarifies and prevents misunderstandings. It also helps the speaker feel validated.
And for kids, that validation builds trust.
Immensely. Another key aspect is asking clarifying questions. If something isn't clear, ask open-ended questions. Instead of, did you mean this? Try, can you tell me more about that? Or how did that make you feel?
That's a great distinction. Open-ended questions encourage deeper sharing.
Exactly. Equally important is empathetic listening. Try to understand and share the feelings of the other person. Put yourself in their shoes. If someone is expressing frustration, grasp the emotion of frustration itself.
So, listening to how they say things and why they might be feeling that way.
Precisely. Now, let's avoid common communication pitfalls. One is interrupting. We often interrupt to share our own thoughts or fix problems, but this can make the speaker feel cut off.
Oh, I'm guilty of that. The urge to jump in with a solution is strong.
It's a common challenge. Another pitfall is mind reading, assuming you know what the other person is thinking or feeling without them saying it. This leads to misunderstandings.
So, resist the temptation to finish their sentences or fill in the blanks.
Yes. Finally, avoid offering unsolicited advice. Sometimes, people just need a vent. Giving advice too soon can shut down conversation. Focus on listening first. You can ask, are you looking for advice? Or would you prefer I just listen?
That's fantastic. It gives the speaker agency. So, to recap, active listening involves full attention, verbal and nonverbal cues, paraphrasing, clarifying questions, and empathetic listening. We also avoid interruptions, mind reading, and unsolicited advice.
You've summarized it perfectly. Mastering these skills transforms family meetings. When everyone feels heard, trust and connection grow. This nurtures healthier relationships.
It really is the foundation. You mentioned this sets the stage for future meetings. What's coming up?
Building on this communication foundation, in our next episode, we'll tackle agendas. We'll explore how to plan what you'll discuss to ensure meetings are productive and focused.
That sounds like a great follow-up, making sure we're talking about the right things.
Exactly. Next episode, building effective agendas. Welcome back to the Family Meeting Guide. Last time, we dove deep into active listening, understanding how truly hearing each other is the bedrock of successful communication. Today, we're building on that foundation by tackling something that can easily turn a family meeting from productive to chaotic, building effective agendas.
That's right, Alex. If active listening is the engine of our family conversations, then the agenda is the roadmap. Without a clear roadmap, we can easily get lost, wander off track, or spend too much time discussing things that aren't as important.
Exactly. So, what makes an agenda effective? It's about more than just jotting down a few random thoughts. An effective agenda brings clarity. It ensures everyone knows what we'll be discussing, why it's important, and how much time we might spend on it. This pre-planning prevents spontaneous, sometimes lengthy, detours.
And thinking back to episode 4, active listening plays a role even before the meeting starts, doesn't it? It's about noticing what's being brought up in day-to-day conversations, what issues seem to be recurring, or what exciting ideas are bubbling up. That's the raw material for our agenda.
Absolutely. So, step one in building an effective agenda is identifying the topics. How do you do that? You can gather input from everyone. Maybe have a designated suggestion box or a quick brainstorm at the end of each meeting for what to discuss next time. Encourage everyone, from the youngest to the oldest, to contribute.
And it's not just about problems, right? We can and should include positive things too, like celebrating a good grade, congratulating someone on an achievement, or even just sharing a funny story. This keeps the meetings from feeling like a constant complaint session.
Precisely. So, once you have your list of potential topics, the next crucial step is prioritizing. Not everything can or should be a headline item for every meeting. Think about urgency, importance, and impact. You might have a critical decision that needs to be made this week, and then a much smaller, less urgent issue that can wait.
So, it's like a triage system for family discussions? We want to deal with the most important things first. But how do we decide what's most important? Is it just whoever shouts the loudest?
Definitely not. It's about discussion and agreement. You can rank items. For example, an item could be high priority, medium priority, or save for later. You might even rate them on a scale or a simple A, B, C system. The key is that the family has a say in this prioritization. This fosters a sense of ownership and buy-in.
I like that. It makes everyone feel heard even in the planning stage. So, we have our topics and we've figured out their importance. What's next in turning that list into a clear roadmap?
Next, we talk about allocating time. This is where we can really combat the chaos part of our episode title. For each agenda item, estimate how much time you realistically need to discuss it. Be generous, but also be realistic. If something is a high priority decision, it might need 20 minutes. A quick check-in or a thank you might only need 2 minutes.
And this time allocation is a guide, not a rigid rule, right? Because life happens, and sometimes a discussion needs a little more time.
Exactly. Think of it as a flexible framework. It helps you keep things moving, but if a vital conversation needs an extra few minutes, you can adjust. The goal isn't to cut people off, but to ensure we cover everything we intended to. When we allocate time, we implicitly tell ourselves, okay, this is important enough for this amount of time of our family's attention.
So, we've got our topics, we've prioritized them, and we've assigned a time estimate. How do we put this all together in a way that's easy to read and follow?
Simplicity is key here. A good visual structure helps immensely. You can number your agenda items, clearly stating the topic, and then perhaps a brief note about what you want to achieve with that item. For example, item 1, family vacation planning. Goal, brainstorm destinations and potential dates. Then, you'd note the time. Item 1, family vacation planning, 20 minutes.
And mentioning the goal for each item is smart. It gives us a target for the discussion. It's not just talking about the vacation, but actively planning it. This is so helpful for keeping us focused, unlike those times we started talking about a vacation and ended up debating the merits of different lawnmowers.
Oh, I remember those detours. So, a clear, concise agenda might look something like this. Item 1, the topic, the goal, and the time. Then item 2, the topic, the goal, and the time. Prioritize the high priority items first to ensure they get the attention they deserve.
And what about those moments when a new, urgent issue pops up during the meeting? Do we just ignore it?
That's a great question, and it's where flexibility comes in, but also the power of the agenda. If something truly urgent and unexpected comes up, you can address it. But you might need to make a conscious decision. Okay, this is important. We'll spend some time on this now. And we may need to adjust our time on another item later, or perhaps table another item for the next meeting. Sometimes, you might even add it as an extra item if you finish early.
So, the agenda serves as our compass, but we can, occasionally, choose to take a slightly different path if adventure calls, as long as we acknowledge it and decide how that detour impacts our planned journey.
Exactly. And remember what we learned about active listening? If someone brings up a new issue, first actively listen to understand it fully before deciding how it fits into the agenda. This prevents immediate, reactive decisions and promotes thoughtful integration.
This is so practical, Alex. It's about bringing structure without stifling the spontaneous, important conversations that make family life dynamic. So, to recap, first, gather topics from everyone. Second, prioritize these topics by urgency and importance. Third, allocate realistic time for each item. And finally, present the agenda clearly and concisely, stating the goal for each discussion point.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. By creating and using effective agendas, we transform our family meetings from potentially chaotic free-for-alls into focused, productive sessions. This clarity builds trust and ensures that everyone's voice is not only heard, but also respected through thoughtful planning.
And this structured approach helps us feel more confident that we're making the best use of our valuable family time. It's amazing how much more we can accomplish when we have a clear plan.
It truly is. And speaking of accomplishments and making the most of our time, we'll be exploring how to celebrate those wins, both big and small, and how positive reinforcement can dramatically boost engagement and morale in your family meetings.
Wonderful. So, get ready to recognize and celebrate your family's successes. We'll see you then.
Next episode, celebrating wins, big and small, the power of positive reinforcement. Welcome back. Last time, we delved into building effective agendas. Now, let's tackle navigating conflict constructively.
Ah, conflict resolution. That sounds intense, but I imagine it's so important. If a family is always avoiding disagreements, how can they ever truly solve problems?
Exactly, Lisa. Avoiding conflict is like ignoring a leaky faucet. It might not seem like a big deal at first, but over time, it can cause more damage. Family meetings provide a structured, safe space to address disagreements. Remember active listening from episode 4? That skill is foundational here.
Right? Active listening. Paraphrasing, asking clarifying questions, really hearing what the other person is saying. I can see how that would be crucial when tensions rise.
Precisely. When a disagreement arises during a family meeting, ensure everyone feels heard. This means practicing empathy. Try to step into the other person's shoes. Ask yourself, Why might they feel this way? It's not about agreeing, but about understanding their perspective.
So, instead of immediately defending your own viewpoint, you first try to understand theirs. That takes self-control, doesn't it?
It does. It requires discipline. Think of it like building a bridge. You can't just throw planks across a river. You need a solid foundation and a plan. In conflict resolution, understanding the other person's viewpoint is part of laying that strong foundation. Once you've truly listened and acknowledged their feelings, you can start working towards a solution.
And that's where finding common ground comes in, right?
Absolutely. Even in disagreements, there are usually shared goals or values. Perhaps both parties want the family to be more organized, or they both want everyone to feel respected. Once you identify these shared interests, you can build solutions from there. It shifts the focus from winning an argument to solving a problem together.
So, the goal isn't to prove someone wrong, but to find a solution that works for everyone? A win-win if possible.
That's the ideal scenario. We call it finding mutually agreeable solutions. It's about compromise, but not in a way that leaves anyone feeling like they've lost out completely. It's about finding a path forward that the whole family can support. This often involves brainstorming different options together within the meeting.
Brainstorming solutions. That's a great idea. So, if there's a disagreement about screen time, instead of arguing about too much or not enough, you could brainstorm things like, what if we have tech-free dinners? Or could we set specific times for gaming?
You got it, Lisa. That's a perfect example. And remember, the process itself is as important as the outcome. Even if you don't find a perfect solution in that moment, the act of working through the conflict respectfully builds trust and strengthens the family bond. It shows that challenges can be met and overcome together.
I can see how that would prevent smaller issues from snowballing. If you address things calmly during the meeting, they don't fester and turn into bigger resentments later.
Exactly. Think of your family meeting as a regular checkup for your family's health. You catch minor issues before they become serious problems. If a small disagreement about chores comes up, addressing it gently can prevent resentment from building until someone explodes about the unfairness of it all.
So, to recap this crucial part of our family meetings, you need to listen actively and empathetically to understand each other's perspectives. You also need to identify any common ground or shared goals. And finally, you work together to brainstorm and find mutually agreeable solutions.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. And don't forget, this takes practice. It won't always be perfect. There will be times when emotions are high, and it feels like you're going in circles. In those moments, it can be helpful to take a short break, perhaps agree to revisit the topic after everyone has had a chance to cool down.
A break? That's a good idea. Sometimes stepping away allows for clearer thinking.
It truly does. And remember, the goal isn't to eliminate conflict. Conflict is natural. The goal is to manage it in a way that promotes understanding, strengthens relationships, and moves the family forward positively. By equipping yourselves with these tools, your family meetings can transform from potential battlegrounds into arenas for growth and deeper connection.
That's such a powerful way to look at it, turning disagreements into opportunities for connection. I feel so much more prepared to handle those inevitable bumps in the road.
Next episode, celebrating wins, big and small, the power of positive reinforcement. Welcome back to the Family Meeting Guide. Last time, we discussed navigating disagreements and resolving conflict constructively.
And that leads perfectly into today's episode, celebrating wins, big and small, and the power of positive reinforcement.
Many of us focus so much on what needs to be fixed that we forget to acknowledge the good stuff. And that good stuff fuels everything else.
If family meetings only focus on problems, they become a chore. But with celebration, they become something everyone looks forward to.
So, how do we weave positive reinforcement into meetings? First, train yourself to look for opportunities to praise. We often breeze past accomplishments.
It's about actively seeking out how things went well, even small victories. If a child helped a sibling or a parent managed a hectic morning, those are wins.
Recognition doesn't have to be elaborate. A sincere great job doing that, or I really appreciate you helping, can go far. Be specific. Instead of good job, say, I noticed you tidied the living room yourself. Thank you for that extra effort.
Specificity shows you noticed and valued their contribution. So, specific, genuine acknowledgments are key. What else fosters this celebratory atmosphere?
Dedicate a part of the agenda. Many families have a block for appreciations or highs and lows. Highs are great for highlighting successes. Everyone shares something positive or they're proud of.
So, it's not just the leader pointing out positives, but a space for everyone to share their personal wins. That makes it more meaningful.
Precisely. And it doesn't always have to be major achievements. A high can be as simple as, I enjoyed a quiet cup of tea, or I finished a good book. It validates those small moments of joy and accomplishment.
That's important for a well-rounded picture of our lives. So, we've got specific praise and a time for sharing highs. What about tangible celebrations?
Tangible rewards can be fantastic if used thoughtfully. Consider what motivates your family. For children, it might be extra screen time, a special dessert, or choosing the next activity. For adults, it could be taking a chore off their plate or a small gift.
It's about making special efforts feel truly special. And it's tied to effort or a positive outcome, not just random.
Exactly. And it doesn't always have to be individual wins. What about celebrating team successes? If the family worked together for a goal, like saving for a vacation or completing a big project, that deserves a collective celebration.
Oh, absolutely. That solidifies that we're in this together feeling. A special outing, a themed dinner, or a big congratulations family can be powerful. It reinforces that working together yields rewards.
And it's not just big, planned celebrations. Sometimes it's spontaneous moments. Acknowledge when someone goes above and beyond. Did someone step up to help with a difficult task? Did someone show exceptional kindness? Pause and point it out.
Those spontaneous acknowledgments feel the most authentic, don't they? It shows you're not just ticking a box, but genuinely noticing and valuing these behaviors.
Think of it like this. When we only focus on problems, our family conversations can be like a performance review where everything is marked down. By incorporating positive reinforcement, we're also creating moments of applause, of recognition, of saying, well done.
That's a perfect analogy, Alex. It transforms the dynamic. People might start anticipating meetings because they know their efforts will be seen and appreciated. And this isn't just about feeling good in the moment. There are deeper benefits.
Oh, absolutely. Consistent positive reinforcement builds self-esteem. It encourages repeating positive behaviors. It strengthens relationships because people feel valued. It fosters a more optimistic and resilient family culture. When challenges arise, a family that regularly celebrates wins approaches them with a can-do attitude.
It's like building a reserve of goodwill and positive energy. So, to recap, we're emphasizing the power of positive reinforcement in family meetings. This means actively looking for accomplishments, both big and small.
Yes, offering specific and genuine praise is key. Dedicating time for appreciations or highs allows everyone to share their personal wins.
And consider thoughtful, tangible rewards or team celebrations when appropriate, but always tie them to effort and positive outcomes. Remember those spontaneous moments of acknowledgement, too. It all contributes to a stronger, more connected family dynamic.
By consistently building in positive reinforcement, you're not just having family meetings, you're cultivating a family culture of appreciation, motivation, and shared success. It's about ensuring that the hard work and good moments are just as visible as the challenges.
It truly makes the family meeting ritual a powerful tool for strengthening bonds.
Next episode, We'll shift gears to discuss how to make your family meetings a true team effort with collaborative planning. Welcome back. Last time, we dove deep into ensuring everyone's voice is heard. Now, let's focus on collaborative planning.
Collaborative planning. What does that really mean for families?
It means actively deciding together how things will get done as a true team. It's about shared ownership of your family's life.
So, instead of one parent deciding, the whole family gets a say?
Exactly. Everyone contributes to planning family outings, schedules, goals, and aspirations.
When kids help plan, they're more invested, right?
Precisely. It fosters buy-in and responsibility, showing that their ideas shape our family's direction. This builds unity. So how we do this?
Where do we start?
Identify what needs planning, from weekend activities to smoother mornings or annual goals. Bring these to the meeting and open the floor.
And open the floor means just shouting ideas?
Good question. While spontaneous ideas are great, structure helps. Use a whiteboard or paper to jot down suggestions without interruption.
So, it's a brainstorming session with a decision-making purpose.
Correct. After sharing, discuss and refine ideas. Active listening is crucial here. Ask clarifying questions.
How do you decide which ideas to move forward with?
Evaluate the pros and cons, consider feasibility. What's realistic given your time, budget, and resources? Align with family values.
So, you weigh options against what's important.
Yes, once a plan is chosen, the collaborative aspect shines in implementation. Decide how it will happen together.
Who will take responsibility for what part? This leads to delegation.
Absolutely. For a camping trip, one researches campsites, another makes a packing list, another plans meals. These roles often emerge naturally.
And tasks should be manageable for everyone, right?
Crucial. Adapt tasks to capabilities. A child might choose a board game. A teen might research tickets. The key is their contribution.
It's about shared purpose and effort, even if it looks different.
Exactly. This applies to short-term things like parties or long-term goals like vacations. It's building a future together.
So, collaborative planning means shared decision-making. We identify needs, brainstorm, discuss, select options, and assign roles.
You've got it. It's empowering everyone to contribute to the family's direction, creating a shared purpose. This makes your family a strong unit.
It sounds like it can transform family functioning, making everyone feel valued.
It can. As children grow, they become more capable of complex planning. It's a developing skill for everyone.
So, instead of just managing a household, we're building a shared vision. That's powerful.
It is, and it leads directly into how we can distribute those responsibilities more formally.
Great.
So, next time, we'll be talking about delegation.
That's right. Next episode, Delegation Station, sharing the load and building responsibility. Welcome back. Last time, we dove into collaborative planning. Now, let's tackle delegation.
Exactly, Alex. Collaborative planning is about deciding what needs to be done. Delegation is about deciding who will do it and how they'll be supported. For parents, it can feel like a big hurdle. We're used to doing it all ourselves, but that leads to burnout and misses opportunities for our kids to learn.
That's so true, Lisa. Delegation isn't just about lightening your own load. It's a powerful parenting tool. When we delegate tasks to our children, we're telling them, I trust you. I believe you're capable. Your contribution matters. That builds confidence and a sense of ownership.
And from the kids' perspective, they get to feel helpful and important. They learn practical skills that they'll need throughout their lives. It's about teaching them to be part of a team, which is what our families are, a real, everyday team.
Absolutely. So, how do we actually do this? The first step is to identify tasks that can be delegated. Think about household routines, meal prep, cleaning, organizing, even planning parts of an outing. What can be handed off, at least partially? Think about what's age appropriate. Toddlers can help put toys away, while older children can be responsible for setting the table, helping with laundry, or even walking the dog.
And age appropriate is key. We don't expect a 5-year-old to manage the grocery budget, but they can certainly help unload the dishwasher or fold their own socks. It's about breaking down larger tasks into smaller, manageable steps that a child can understand and execute.
Right? Once you've identified a task, the next step is clear communication. This goes back to our active listening discussions. You need to explain the task clearly. What needs to be done? Why is it important? What does success look like? Don't just say, clean your room. Instead, explain, I need your room to be tidy so that we can find things easily. That means putting your toys in the bin, hanging up your clothes, and making your bed.
And demonstrating can be really helpful, especially for younger children or when introducing a new task. Show them how to do it. Maybe it's how to properly load the dishwasher or how to wipe down the counters. The point isn't perfection, especially at first. The point is their participation and learning.
Exactly. And don't forget to provide the necessary resources. If a child is responsible for watering the plants, make sure they know where the watering can is and have access to it. If they're helping with meal prep, ensure they have the right utensils and ingredients. Remove any barriers to their success.
This is where the teamwork aspect really comes into play. When we delegate, we're inviting our children to be active participants in the running of our household. They become stakeholders. This leads to them developing a stronger sense of responsibility and competence. They learn the value of contributing to the collective good.
And this practice directly ties back to our discussion on collaborative planning. When kids are involved in delegating tasks, they understand the bigger picture. They see what's involved in making the family run smoothly, and they're more likely to buy into the plans that are made because they're part of the execution. It's a cyclical process of involvement.
So, to recap this part, first, identify tasks that are age appropriate and can be delegated. Second, communicate the task clearly, explaining the what and the why. Third, demonstrate if needed and provide necessary resources. And fourth, foster a sense of teamwork and ownership. This approach helps lighten the parental load and, more importantly, builds essential life skills and a sense of contribution in our children. It's about empowering them.
Now, what happens when things don't go perfectly? Because they won't always. A child might forget a task or do it in a way that isn't quite right. This is where your role as a supportive leader comes in. Instead of jumping in to fix it or getting frustrated, approach it as a teaching moment.
This feels like a perfect segue into troubleshooting, which we'll cover next. But for now, focusing on delegation, it's crucial to offer constructive feedback. Talk about what went well and what could be improved. Maybe the dog bowl wasn't quite full enough, or the shirts weren't folded neatly. Guide them on how to do it better next time.
And offer praise. Positive reinforcement is incredibly powerful. When a child completes a delegated task well, acknowledge their effort. Wow, you did a great job watering the plants. They look so healthy. Or, thank you for setting the table so nicely. It makes dinner feel special. Don't underestimate the impact of a simple, sincere compliment.
It's about creating a positive cycle. Kids feel good when they succeed, and that motivates them to take on more responsibility. It reinforces the idea that their contributions are valued and that they are capable members of the family team. Remember, delegation isn't about getting tasks done perfectly every time. It's about the process of teaching, learning, and growing together as a family.
And by delegating effectively, you're not just managing household tasks, You're nurturing independent, responsible, and engaged young people. You're building their character and their confidence, one assigned task at a time. It's a fundamental part of building that strong family bond we've been talking about throughout this series.
It really is. It transforms household chores from a source of parental stress into opportunities for children to learn, contribute, and feel proud. And that's a win-win for everyone involved.
Next episode, we'll tackle common hurdles families face with their meetings and how to overcome them. Welcome back to the Family Meeting Guide. In our previous episode, we talked all about delegation, empowering your children and yourself by sharing responsibilities.
And that's such a crucial step, Alex, because it leads us right into today's topic. Because let's be honest, implementing any new routine, especially one that involves everyone in the family, isn't always smooth sailing. Today, we're diving deep into troubleshooting your family meetings and overcoming those common hurdles.
Absolutely, Lisa. It's inevitable. You're going to run into challenges. But the good news is, most of them are completely predictable and have practical solutions. The key is to anticipate them and have strategies ready.
So, Alex, what's the most common roadblock you see families encounter when they start holding regular family meetings?
I'd say disengagement is a big one. You might have kids who just aren't interested, or maybe they feel bored, or they don't see the point. And frankly, sometimes even adults can feel that way initially.
That makes sense. It's a new habit, and new habits can be tough to stick with. So, how do we combat that feeling of disengagement?
First, we need to revisit the why from episode 1. Remind everyone why these meetings are happening. It's not just another chore. It's about building a stronger family, solving problems together, and making sure everyone feels heard. Connecting the meeting to tangible benefits, like having more say on weekend activities, resolving a sibling squabble peacefully, or even just having dedicated fun time, can be very motivating.
So, really reinforcing the value proposition of the family meeting.
Exactly. And another tactic for disengagement is to make it fun. Remember in episode 3, we talked about making meetings family-friendly? Don't be afraid to mix it up. Have a meeting snack. Maybe everyone gets a special treat. Change the location sometimes. If you always meet in the formal living room, try the backyard on a nice day. Small changes can make a big difference in keeping energy levels up.
I love that. Injecting some novelty. And what about when meetings just go off the rails? You know, someone brings up a grievance that's not on the agenda, and suddenly it's a free-for-all argument.
Ah, the dreaded agenda derailment. This is where your role as facilitator or whoever is leading the meeting becomes really important. Our discussion on agendas in episode 5 is key here. Stick to the agenda. If a new issue arises, acknowledge it, validate the person who brought it up, and suggest adding it to the agenda for the next meeting. You can even set a timer for new topics to be discussed later.
So, it's about honoring the topic, but also preserving the structure of the current meeting.
Precisely. It teaches patience and planning. And for recurring conflicts, which we touched on in episode 6 about constructive conflict resolution, you need to have clear family agreements or ground rules. For instance, a rule could be, we speak respectfully, even when we disagree, or we focus on solutions, not just problems.
That's so important. Having those agreed upon rules of engagement. What about time constraints? Sometimes, families might feel like they just don't have 30 minutes to an hour to dedicate to a meeting.
That's another common one, especially for busy families. The solution here is flexibility and iteration. Remember episode 11? Adapting to life's changes is paramount. If 30 minutes feels too long, start with 15. Or break it down. Maybe you have a quick check-in for 10 minutes to share highs and lows, and then schedule a separate, shorter agenda focus session later.
So, it's not about rigid adherence to a set time, but about finding a time that works for your family, even if it's shorter.
Exactly. And also, streamline the process. Make sure the agenda is clear, pre-circulated if necessary, and that everyone knows their role. If you're running through the agenda items efficiently, you'll naturally save time. And importantly, if a discussion is going on too long, but it's productive, you can always extend it slightly or make a note to continue it at the next meeting. It's about progress, not perfection.
I think that's a great point, Alex. Perfectionism can be a real hurdle. What if different family members have wildly different communication styles? One person might be very direct, and another might be more reserved.
That goes back to active listening, which we cover in episode 4. It's about truly hearing and understanding the other person, regardless of their style. As facilitators, we need to actively encourage quieter members to share their thoughts. You can do this by directly asking them, like, Sarah, what are your thoughts on this? Or you can use a talking stick or a similar method where only the person holding the object speaks, ensuring everyone gets an uninterrupted turn.
So, creating an environment where all communication styles feel safe and valued.
Precisely. And for those who are very direct, we need to ensure they're practicing empathy and not steamrolling others. This is where those family agreements on respectful communication are vital, as we discussed. You can also use phrases like, I hear you saying X. Is that correct? To ensure understanding and give the speaker a chance to clarify.
It sounds like a lot of this comes down to consistent practice and a willingness to adapt.
That's the heart of it. Family meetings are a living, breathing ritual. They will evolve. They will face challenges. But by anticipating common issues like disengagement, agenda derailment, time constraints, and communication style differences, and by drawing on the strategies we've discussed throughout this series, from active listening and clear agendas to constructive conflict resolution and delegation, you can overcome these hurdles and keep your family meeting strong.
So, to recap some of the troubleshooting tips we discussed, for disengagement, reinforce the why and make meetings fun. For agenda derailment, stick to the plan and defer new topics. For time constraints, be flexible with duration and streamline processes. And for communication style differences, practice active listening and establish clear ground rules for respectful dialogue.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. Remember, your family meeting is a tool for building connection. When you encounter bumps in the road, don't get discouraged. See them as opportunities to learn and grow together as a family.
And that adaptability is going to serve you well as your family and your meeting practices continue to grow. Next episode, we'll explore how to keep your family meetings flexible and adaptable to life's inevitable changes.
Welcome back to the Family Meeting Guide. Life changes, and your meetings should too.
It really is, Alex. One minute things are predictable, and the next, something entirely new comes up that shifts everything. This episode is about making sure our family meetings can roll with those punches.
Exactly. We've spent the last 10 episodes building this fantastic ritual, from understanding why meetings matter to crafting agendas and resolving conflicts. But those foundations need to be flexible enough to withstand life's inevitable curveballs. So, the big question for today is, how do we make our family meetings adaptable to life's changes without losing their core purpose?
That's a great question. I think the first thing to acknowledge is that life will throw things at us. We're talking about unexpected illnesses, a sudden job change, a new sibling, a teenager's demanding schedule, or even just a particularly busy season for everyone. These aren't small hiccups. They can fundamentally alter how our families function and, by extension, how our meetings need to function.
Precisely. And the mistake many families make is trying to force the existing meeting structure onto a new reality. They get frustrated, meetings become a chore, and eventually, they stop altogether. Instead, we need to build in a philosophy of flexibility from the start. Remember how we talked about meetings being a tool, not a tyrant? This is where that really comes into play.
So, it's less about abandoning the ritual and more about adjusting it. What are some of the most common ways life changes impact family meetings, and how can we proactively address them?
One of the biggest is frequency. We might have started with a solid weekly meeting, but then someone gets sick or there's a major school project. Instead of canceling indefinitely, maybe the meeting shifts to bi-weekly for a while, or we have shorter, more focused check-ins. It's about maintaining connection, even if the format changes.
That makes sense. A shorter, more frequent check in could be just as effective, if not more so, when things are hectic. It's like if you can't cook a full 7 course meal every night, you still make sure everyone gets fed with a healthy, balanced lunch.
That's a perfect analogy, Lisa. And another area for adaptation is the format itself. Maybe a full sit down over dinner isn't feasible. Could we have a quick huddle in the car on the way to soccer practice? Or a virtual check in on a Friday afternoon? The medium might change, but the conversation and connection remain the priority.
I love that. It really emphasizes that family meetings aren't confined to a specific time or place. It's the act of coming together, sharing, and problem solving that matters most. So, adapting the format is key. What else?
The agenda, certainly. When life throws us a curveball, the usual agenda items might become less relevant or new. Urgent issues will arise. We need to be prepared to pivot. This means having core agenda items that are always there, like checking in on everyone's week, but also building in space for whatever is currently most pressing for the family.
So, a flexible agenda would have, say, a standing weekly check in slot, but then perhaps a life happens slot where new topics can be brought up and prioritized on the spot?
Exactly. And this ties back to our episode on active listening. When life is changing, listening becomes even more critical. We need to be attuned to what our family members are experiencing and willing to adjust our priorities accordingly. A flexible meeting structure allows for those necessary pivots without making anyone feel unheard.
It really does. And I think another significant change families experience is in their dynamics. As children grow, their needs and interests change. What worked for a meeting with a toddler might not work for a teenager. How do we adapt to those evolving family structures?
That's a fantastic point. As kids get older, they need more autonomy and their input becomes even more valuable. Their meeting participation might shift from simple sharing to taking on more leadership roles or contributing to agenda planning. This isn't about changing the meeting for them, but changing it with them as they mature.
So, we need to be willing to adjust the expectations we have for each family member's role in the meeting as they grow and their responsibilities evolve. It's like how a parent's role changes as their child becomes more independent.
Precisely. And this also applies when new members join the family, whether through marriage, adoption, or even a long-term guest. The established rhythm might need to be reevaluated to ensure everyone feels welcomed and integrated into the family meeting process. Open communication is the cornerstone here, always.
So, to recap what we've discussed, adaptability in family meetings is essential because life is dynamic. We can adapt by adjusting the frequency of meetings, perhaps moving from weekly to biweekly during busy periods. We can adapt the format, opting for quick huddles or virtual check ins when a formal sit down isn't possible.
We also talked about adapting the agenda to accommodate urgent issues alongside core topics. And importantly, adapting roles and expectations as children grow and family dynamics change. The overarching principle is prioritizing connection and communication, even when the meeting structure itself needs to shift.
It's about seeing the family meeting ritual not as a rigid structure, but as a living, breathing part of the family that can evolve alongside everyone. This flexibility ensures the ritual remains a consistent source of support and connection, no matter what life throws our way.
Well said, Lisa. And this brings us to the final episodes of our series, where we'll look at sustaining this vital practice and the incredible legacy of connection it builds. Next episode, Beyond the Basics, advanced family meeting strategies. Welcome back. Last time we covered adapting to life's changes. Now let's tackle advanced strategies.
We've covered the fundamentals, Alex. Now it's time to supercharge those meetings and make them truly inspiring.
Exactly. Once your family meetings are running smoothly, how do you keep that momentum going and make them even more impactful? It's about looking at the bigger picture and fostering shared dreams.
So, we're moving from day-to-day management to actively shaping the future together?
Precisely. A powerful way to do that is through shared family goal setting. Think about what your family wants to achieve together, like saving for a vacation or improving a family skill.
Unity and purpose, I get it. How do we introduce this in a meeting?
Start with brainstorming during a future focus segment. Ask questions like, what's one thing we'd love to accomplish as a family in the next 6 months?
So, we're focusing on what we want to do, not just what needs doing. That sounds exciting. What's next after brainstorming?
Refine those ideas. Choose one or two key goals to focus on and break them down into smaller, actionable steps. Who will do what by when? This highlights everyone's contribution.
Turning aspirations into a concrete plan, slicing big dreams into bite-sized pieces. That reinforces that everyone's contribution matters towards shared success.
Absolutely. To make goals more tangible, consider vision boarding. It's a collage of images and words representing your family's dreams.
Oh, I love that visual and creative idea.
Yes, dedicate a meeting or special session to creating a family vision board. Gathering images and art supplies together is a powerful bonding experience.
So, the vision board becomes a visual reminder of what you're working towards, a compass for your family's journey.
Exactly. Goal setting and vision boarding shift the tone from problem solving to possibility and progress, injecting excitement and forward momentum.
That keeps energy high and meetings anticipated. What else can keep meetings fresh after families have been doing them for a while?
Incorporate fun themes or specific activities. Imagine a Travel Tuesday to discuss dream destinations or a Skillshare Saturday where a family member teaches something new and simple.
Brilliant! It turns the meeting into a multifaceted event that caters to different interests. It's about learning, exploring, and having fun together, not just household matters.
Precisely. You could have a family talent show or a community spotlight brainstorming session. Rotating themes keep things novel and exciting, building on that foundation of communication and participation.
These advanced strategies deepen connection by giving families shared dreams and experiences within the supportive structure of the meeting. It's a hub for inspiration and growth.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Proactive goal setting, visualizing dreams with vision boards, and creative themes transform family meetings into incubators for shared success and lasting memories.
So, we've covered moving into shared aspiration goal setting, using vision boarding to visualize dreams, and incorporating fun themes and activities to maintain enthusiasm.
Exactly. These strategies take your family's connection to the next level, building on trust to actively shape a brighter, more connected future.
It's about making every family meeting not just productive, but also a source of joy, inspiration, and shared purpose.
You've got it. These strategies make your family meetings a cornerstone of your family's strength and happiness for years to come.
This has been so insightful, Alex. It truly shows how family meetings can evolve and become even more impactful.
They absolutely can. Next episode, the legacy of connection and how to sustain your family meeting ritual for the long haul. Welcome back. Last time we covered advanced strategies for family meetings. Now let's focus on sustainability.
That sounds so important, Alex. We've covered so much ground already.
But making it a lasting ritual, that feels like a whole different level.
It really is. Life changes, kids grow up, their needs and interests change, and frankly, our own lives get busier. The temptation to let things slide, especially something that requires consistent effort like family meetings, can be strong. But the magic of family meetings isn't just in the individual meetings. It's in the consistency, the pattern, the ritual itself.
So, it's not just about having a meeting when there's a big problem to solve, but about having them regularly to prevent those big problems from even forming?
Exactly. It's about building a foundation of open communication and mutual understanding that can weather any storm. We've been having regular family meetings for years. You've built up a reservoir of trust. When a new challenge arises, whether it's a big decision about schooling, a disagreement, or just a stressful period, your family already has a communication framework in place. They know how to talk to each other, how to listen, and how to work through things together.
That's a powerful image. It's like a family muscle that gets stronger with every meeting. Even when life gets hectic, that muscle memory of communication kicks in.
Precisely. And how do you keep that muscle strong? By adapting. Remember in episode 11, we talked about adapting to life's changes? That's key to sustaining the ritual. As your children get older, their roles in the meeting can evolve. Younger children might focus on sharing their day and asking for help with specific tasks. Teenagers might be more involved in decision-making, budget discussions, or planning family activities.
So the format might change, but the core purpose remains the same: connection and collaboration.
You got it. Think about the elements we've discussed. The agenda might shift from what's for dinner to how are we handling college applications, or from who took out the trash to what are our shared goals for the summer. The meeting's content will naturally mature with your family.
That makes so much sense. It's about keeping it relevant. Imagine trying to have a meeting about bedtime routines with teenagers. It wouldn't work. But discussing household chores or future family vacations, that keeps them engaged.
And for the parents, it's about remembering your why. Why did you start these meetings in the first place? Was it to feel more connected? To raise responsible children? To create a harmonious home? Keeping that original purpose in mind can be a powerful motivator, especially on those days when you're feeling tired and just want to skip it.
That's a great reminder. It's easy to get caught up in the logistics and forget the deeper meaning. So, beyond adapting the agenda, what else is crucial for long-term success?
Fostering a sense of ownership. When everyone in the family feels like the meetings are theirs, not just something mom or dad is forcing on them, they're more likely to participate and value them. This goes back to making sure everyone's voice is heard. It means giving kids age-appropriate responsibilities within the meeting itself, like taking turns facilitating, keeping track of time, or even choosing the next fun activity.
So integrating the concepts we've learned throughout the series. Ownership, active listening, clear agendas, they all play a role in making the ritual sustainable.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of celebrating the successes. In episode 7, we talked about positive reinforcement, and that's vital for sustaining anything. Acknowledge when a meeting went really well. Celebrate when a decision made in a meeting led to a positive outcome. These small wins build momentum and reinforce the value of the ritual.
So, it's not just about pushing through the tough times, but also about savoring the good times that the meetings create.
Precisely. And it's about being a role model. Our children learn from watching us. If they see us consistently prioritizing these meetings, engaging thoughtfully, and respecting each other's contributions, they'll internalize those values. They'll understand that this is what a healthy family does.
That's a profound thought. We're not just talking about effective communication, we're talking about shaping the character of our families for generations to come.
Exactly, Lisa. This is where the idea of a legacy comes in. Family meetings, when practiced consistently and with intention, become a cornerstone of your family's culture. It's a tradition that can be passed down. Imagine your adult children, years from now, starting their own family meetings, perhaps even remembering some of the strategies or phrases you used. That is a powerful legacy.
It truly is. It's an investment in connection, and the returns are immeasurable. So, to sum up, sustaining this ritual is about consistent adaptation, keeping the core purpose in mind, fostering ownership, celebrating successes, and being a role model.
That's a perfect summary. It's about viewing family meetings not as another chore, but as a continuous, evolving process that strengthens the bonds that matter most. It's about ensuring that your family's communication remains a vital, living part of your lives through all of life's chapters.
And as we approach the end of our series, this idea of sustainability feels like the perfect penultimate topic. It gives listeners the tools and the mindset to carry on what they've learned.
It does. And speaking of the end, we have just one episode left.
I can't believe it. After all this time, we're almost at the conclusion. What can our listeners expect in that final episode?
Next episode, we'll bring it all together. We'll provide a final, rewarding conclusion to our series and reflect on the journey we've taken together. We'll look back at the core principles and offer some final encouragement as you continue your family meeting journey. Welcome back to the Family Meeting Guide. This is our final episode as we bring this powerful series to a close.
Absolutely, Alex. We've journeyed through so much together, from understanding why family meetings are essential to mastering the how of making them a consistent, positive ritual.
That's right, Lisa. Over the past 13 episodes, we've explored how to create a welcoming environment, practice active listening, build effective agendas, navigate disagreements constructively, and celebrate every success. We've talked about teamwork, delegation, and even how to troubleshoot those inevitable bumps in the road.
And what a journey it's been! We started with the fundamental idea that regular, structured family time can dramatically strengthen bonds. Think back to episode 1. We talked about family meetings as the heartbeat of your home. It's about creating intentional space for connection in our busy lives.
Exactly. And to achieve that, we laid the groundwork for a family meeting ritual. Remember, in episode 2, we stressed the importance of consistency and creating a specific time and place for these gatherings. This ritual becomes a predictable anchor for everyone, a time they can count on.
And that consistency is key to making sure everyone feels heard. We emphasized in episode 3 that family meetings need to be genuinely family-friendly. It's not just about the adults talking. It's about creating a space where every voice, no matter how young or old, feels valued and respected.
That leads us directly to active listening, a cornerstone we discussed in episode 4. True communication happens when we aren't just waiting to speak, but when we're truly hearing and understanding each other. We learn techniques to really listen, to ask clarifying questions, and to validate feelings.
Which certainly helps when you're trying to move from chaos to clarity, as we covered in episode 5 with effective agendas. Having a plan for your meeting, knowing what topics you'll discuss, and setting clear objectives beforehand can transform a disorganized chat into a productive session.
And what happens when those discussions get a little heated? That's where episode 6 on constructive conflict resolution comes in. We learned that disagreements are natural, but how we handle them is what matters. It's about finding solutions together, focusing on the problem, not the person.
And after tackling challenges, it's so important to acknowledge progress, which brings us to episode 7, celebrating wins, big and small. Positive reinforcement fuels motivation. Recognizing achievements, big or small, creates a positive feedback loop that encourages continued participation and effort.
Teamwork truly makes the dream work, and episode 8 was all about that collaborative spirit. Family meetings are a prime opportunity to reinforce that we are a team, working towards shared goals. This extends into how we delegate tasks, as we explored in episode 9. Sharing the load not only lightens everyone's burden, but also builds responsibility and competence in each family member.
Naturally, not every meeting goes perfectly. Episode 10 gave us practical tools for troubleshooting your meetings, identifying common hurdles like distractions or disengagement, and finding ways to overcome them. It's about continuous improvement.
And our lives are constantly changing, so flexibility is crucial. In episode 11, we talked about adapting your family meeting structure to life's changes, whether it's a new school schedule, a family move, or other significant events. The ritual needs to bend, not break.
We even explored some advanced strategies in episode 12, looking at how to deepen the impact of your meetings once the basics are firmly in place. This could involve setting longer-term goals or tackling more complex family decisions.
And as we saw in episode 13, the legacy of connection forged through these meetings is what truly sustains the ritual. It's about building a lasting habit of open communication and mutual support that will benefit your family for years to come.
So here we are at the conclusion. Looking back, we've seen how the simple act of gathering regularly, communicating openly, and working together can build an unbreakable bond. It's about creating a culture of connection within your home.
And the beauty of it is, this isn't just a series of tips. It's a philosophy for family life. By consistently implementing these practices, you're not just holding meetings, you're actively cultivating a deeper, more resilient, and more loving family dynamic.
It's about making your family meeting ritual a cherished tradition, a source of strength, and a testament to the powerful connections you share. You've learned the tools, and now it's about putting them into practice consistently.
Remember those core principles. Create a sacred time and space. Ensure everyone feels heard. Communicate with respect. Solve problems together. And always celebrate your collective journey. These are the building blocks for a long-lasting, thriving family.
And as we wrap up this series, we want to encourage you to keep going. Don't be discouraged by occasional off nights. View every session as a fresh opportunity to connect and grow together. The impact of these consistent efforts will undoubtedly shape your family's future in profound ways.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Family Meeting Guide. It has been an absolute pleasure sharing these insights with you. We truly believe that by embracing the power of regular family meetings, you're building your family's strongest bond.
Thanks for listening to the series.